Hi, everyone.
Don't have forever. You better intro fast.
Michael, what are you doing here?
What
you doing?
We watched Don.
We watched The Devil May Cry.
We watched Dante.
Well, we kind of did.
I want to go home. Yeah, we watched the Devil May Cry Netflix anime. I also watched I don't know what you would call the older Devil May Cry anime.
Oh yeah, there was that.
I was gonna call it the Hulu one, but that's not what it is. But yeah, we liked it a lot. Suffice to say. So we did a fan art. We'll share a few thoughts. We don't have very many thoughts because we're not smart. But yeah, we're gonna kick it off. I started with doing just some like pose ideas. So you're gonna see some thumbnailing first.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we get proper, Ace?
Now let's just get right into it.
Okay, hit and play in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, like I said, it started with just a lot of thumbnailing and like gestural practice. Shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I wanna do something where I can also kind of convert it into like a martial arts button or sticker for our martial arts nonprofit. But I like wanted to have something that was like a nice kind of flat thing that can work for that kind of graphic design. But I also wanted to push the posing of it. And one of the things that you'll find as you try to do martial arts or fight scene and dynamic stuff is there's this constant battle between pushing perspective, like to a cartoony degree, and making it look really cool and dynamic, having realistic perspective, which is hard, and having a clear pose. Because especially like for martial arts, I feel like you want to show all your knowledge. Like the knee needs to be up, it needs to be here, it needs to be there. And with that, you'll want, when you're trying to display it all, it has your leg, instead of going towards camera, kind of just off to the side.
Uh-huh.
So it's a really interesting battle to do. So that's kind of like my big art thought. This is gonna be another one where I kind of like match. I try to stay relatively on model, but I don't match the show style too well. You can see I'm using nice thick brush. This is still a sketch right now, but I'm gonna use the same brush for the line art. So I try to have my line quality, but for TV production like a Netflix show or most anime, it's probably a more consistent thin line weight.
Yeah. I'm just mesmerized at this point, watching your art.
Is that the thing we have to start doing for the speed draws? Is like you can't actually watch the speed draw with it if you're gonna commentary.
I might.
Well, do you want to share a thought either art wise or about the show?
So I enjoyed the show.
Yes. Neither of us have played the games. I played.
Yeah,
I played some of the games when I was like 12 when I borrowed them from a neighbor. But I'm not like a Devil May Cry guy or anything.
No, I have little to no exposure of the games. Like, I know of the games and I've seen some clips of it.
Yeah.
Like, including the lawn chair mod. The Virgil lawn chair mod. I'll throw it up on the the screen.
This is why she wants to edit. She just wants to be able to force her own obscure knowledge and memes into the final
There's
product.
that, and then the knowledge that, like, the three main, I guess, characters, not Lady, but, like, the three main guys of Devil May Cry,
Dante,
and Nero. Yeah, they were all involved in Power Rangers at some point. Like, the original voice for Dante was, Stuntman.
Okay.
Original Virgil was Eric the Quantum Ranger in Time Force, and then Nero and Netflix Dante is Adam from Mighty Morphin.
Okay. That is interesting. I think one of the weirdest things is like to make the jump from like stunt guy to voice actor. Like it's still like theater, acting and everything.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's like the two most different in front of camera style roles you can have, I feel like. Because stuntman, obviously, you know, stunt people can be great actors. Kane Hodder does acting. A lot of the Power Ranger actors are their own stuntmen.
Can I interject and say that the Power Ranger to horror pipeline
Yeah.
is so prevalent, and I love it.
Crap, I keep switching back to. So I had a concept art file open too while I was doing this. So you're gonna. And whenever I have multiple tabs open, I don't remember which tab is which, and I don't read. I just go to where I think it is, and I'm never right. So
Stop having multiple tabs open.
that would also be smart, especially when I know when I'm recording. But I don't do that because it's one of those like habits of like if the tab isn't open, I might not return to it and finish the work. Whereas if the tab is open, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do that. So yeah. But no, I just find it interesting because like a lot of stunt people probably are great actors and they have been in the past. But it's interesting for a stunt person to go all the way from taking hits, which is like, again, their focus isn't necessarily acting. Their focus is doing cool stuff. And voice acting is, like I said, the furthest away from that as possible. It's just a vocal performance. So that's interesting. What about your thoughts about the actual show, whether it's the art style or the story?
The art style is fun. I like the story. I especially... Oh, actually, there was one episode that I just did not like, and that was when the art style kind of changed itself up.
And I get... And I think that... So, one, I love the choice. Even if I didn't like the art style, which I like most of it, I love the choice. Like, that's kind of like the arc in Misfit Arts right now is like, if you're making art, as long as you're making choices in your art, you're doing something right. And the show definitely made choices. I love that. I do think the almost Tim Burton Don't Starve art style, it was such a weird choice, but such a fun one. It really made hell feel like this, almost like a fairy tale world. Like if you take the biblical aspects out and just say hell is a painful place, but it's where the magic is, that's really fun.
You know, it kind of feeds into like the commentary that people have these prejudices against demons. So like showing them in a different light,
whereas
kind of makes them more sympathetic.
Real, quote unquote, real world in that flashback episode was displayed with a grittier, a lot of cross-hatching filters and film grain style stuff on it. So yeah, like I said, I get why it, because I think you would say you like that art style, right? You like cutesy art styles.
I do, but
like if you saw that just as like a Don't Starve trailer, you'd probably go, cool, right?
Right.
You did, but it shocked you and caught you off guard for this specific project.
Yes.
Which is totally fine.
Which also, sorry, do you want to finish here?
Go for it.
Which also leads into like the political allegory in this show. It got the most heavy-handed in the final episode, but I think in the best way possible.
I was gonna say that, like, and maybe if you fall in different corners of certain spectrums, you would feel differently. But I feel like one of the things that made this political commentary great, which we won't really get into it too much because I don't know. No one should care about my opinion on this stuff. But it's great because it's so goofy. It's so out there and so pushed, which again is a constant thing that we say about cartoons and animation and stuff, is that you should exaggerate. And all of the characters in Devil May Cry were exaggerated. Again, we can't speak as far as like, did it adapt the games? Well, I don't freaking know. And I don't know if I should, especially like when you're adapting a series like this, you're going to constantly having to ask the question of what point in this timeline are we adapting? Because I feel like the world of the first game and the like most recent game are probably very different. So yeah, but I really tried to think about like the overall vibe, and I thought having like this cool impact frame of just swoosh,
ooh, yes,
would be fun. I also, as you can see, I played with some of the chromatic aberration filters again, so the lines kind of became like this little purple.
I'm sorry, I'm just like really excited. No, but the way that you edited it looked like the opening sequence to the show. Which, can we talk about the like needle drops for this show?
So I feel like you talk about that for too long. So
True.
Maybe we'll make a special thing. Well, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing there I feel like is just have fun contracts or soundtracks and get really fun artists to do custom music for a show. It's always gonna be fun. Linkin Park doing Heavy as the Crown for Arcane was dope.
Oh, absolutely.
Evanescence coming in and doing a special song is dope.
Yes!
I might eventually try to do, because you brought up the opening from it, which is just this super great graphical thing, which maybe is one of the next journeys I need to go on, is like super stylized color and everything. I realized that I didn't do any of the aberration on the demon back there as I did for Dante, so I'm like, let me go do a little bit. Speaking of going and updating things, we're going to update our Patreon soon to have Patreon exclusive prints that are going to be, we're going to call them unrated, which will sometimes mean saucy, sometimes it will mean super gory. It's just going to be something that no one can tell us no. We're going to draw what we want to do, and there will be a unrated version of this print going on our Patreon probably this month. If we have to update it, but so if you want to see like that illustration but with blood and like a foreground asset and all sorts of crazy stuff, basically just pushing it, it's gonna happen. And
Can I just spoil it and say that in the unrated version we're not seeing Dante's Devil Trigger?
Well, no, we're not gonna see Dante's Devil Trigger. That's not what's unrated about it.
I feel like that needed to be said.
Okay. Oh yeah. I guess. Yeah. No. It's basically the same thing. And that might be the theme for it. We'll see. Like I said, the Patreon stuff is going to be a compilation of catalogs of what we've done before and just stuff that we can't be told no on. So it will probably be an 18+ thing. There may be some, like I said, schmexual content, but it's not going to become like just that. It's going to be whatever we think is cool. So yeah.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. And anything else you want to say to close out with, Ace?
Show is good. Give it a watch.
Give it a watch. I was really debating just to cut you off and just hit stop recording and just went
rude.
Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, till then, eat your marshmallows, draw your pictures, and
bury the light. Bye.
Bye.